everybody. My private news, my wife got her into sharing, I wish she was here for this. Anyway, we get past that. Sorry. Okay, great. Anyway, so now that I want to tell you, I've just come back from watching play in the rugby competition today, who really did me proud, so I'm happy that I've had some support. So from there, I think we'll get back together now. I'd like to, some important people I need to thank. First, my father, who was probably the only coach I've ever had, and I think the reason I say that is because I have to hear about people saying that they message my son, he's the best, he's that. And when I played for Warwick, this is where I started, my club. Whenever I went to Warwick Club, it was like, you know, you're the best, this, I'll buy you a drink, I'll do that. I was only a teenager at the time. Then I had to go home, and my pop said, hey, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, you did the other thing wrong. So that's, I've never had a coach other than that, wherever I played in England or in the US, Canada. So these coaches that, you know, it's newfangled, get as far as I'm concerned. And I'd just like to say a lot of thanks to all the people in my travels, which with Warwick, I have to start with that because they were, you know, my neighborhood club. My father was a starting member there, and you know, the Tuckers, Lee Tucker, and all of the Ordred, Warwick, Clydesdale, social people were a big part of that time. And I'll skip on to Northwich, who really are a very special part of my club, because I think they're a great family club, and have Mr. Sherman talk about a couple of you. He didn't mention anything about me, but it's all right. I think Northwich is a very special club. I spent almost 10 years there, and you know, he didn't have to show it. But it's a good, I think they have done, and they still continue to do, a very good job of having a good rounded program. So they're a very special group to me. And then on to hotels with the old guy on the Peacock. That prove that as we turn 30, we can still do a bit. We shouldn't just like fade and disappear into the sunset. And those were actually very special years as well. A couple of other things I'd like to say is listen to Sean, and I think with Clyde and other people, some of the things you do. One of the things that always irks me is that we, as Marines, are actually very good at pulling each other down. One of the things that's important to know, that when we play overseas, nobody really cares about us. People identify with their own kind. It means that English, German, Italian, whatever, those are the people that they go to watch. So when our guys, as Sean was saying, we have to go the extra yard, or 2 yards, 10 yards, to be able to be successful, because we don't put people in the stands. So it's our ability that allows us to do the things that we do. So I would like to see in the future that we anyway, thank you. This is a great honor. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed, you know, all the people that are my heroes I've seen tonight, and you know, no one made less. Thank you very much.
This is indeed an honor. When someone made the mistake and didn't do it alphabetically, I thought my mates on the committee had finally come to their senses and withdrawn my name. However, ladies and gentlemen, Premier, I'll probably get the award because I represent the dark ages of athletics. In the 50s, when my heyday, we didn't have fancy running shoes, fancy tracks. Indeed, only a handful of people ran all year round. And when I used to run in the 50s, it was a daily occurrence, really. People would shout out, "David, David, you fool, St. Brendan's is that way." When I won my first 3-mile national championships, I was 17. I was looking for competition. The competition took place on the BAA field. Sorry, George. It was 220 yards marked out. It was 3 miles. How good your math? 24 times around the track you ran. It was hell to play on the judges because I lapped everyone twice. When I set the world, it seemed to be the record for the 10 miles, still 17 years of age, there was only one other competitor at the starting line. And I give you the reason why. In those days, and I'm really emphasizing the dark ages, you were not allowed by 3A's rules, by the Olympic rules, to feed. In other words, you couldn't have a drop of water. You had to run with no liquid at all. I had never run 10 miles. All I did was link 2 5-miles together. But I was stiff for a week through dehydration. I was desperate to get to the Olympics. What I really needed was some competition. So I wrote to the 3As and the Olympic Association and said, "Pretty please, can't I run with the 24th of May guys? I'm sure I could beat that Ed Sherlock over there." I got the rules wrong. I got a rude letter back that said, "Those guys who run on the 24th of May aren't professionals. And if you want to run in the Olympics, Buster, you better not even go and run with them, even for fun. Don't turn up for a training session with them. You will lose your amateur status." Obviously, I didn't. And certainly if Mrs. Dunkley, who was a really good female runner, if she were to say, in those days, "Well, why didn't you get a bunch of women to run with you and you could do relays?" The wise Olympic Association had decreed in 1927, women's constitution can't do long-distance running. You must only restrict them to 220. Really, you won't believe this, but it wasn't until 1960 in the Olympics that women were considered capable of running twice around the track, the 880. 1960. It was not until 1972 that they decreed that women were capable with their constitution to be able to run 4 times around the metric mile. It gets worse, I'm telling you, about the dark old ages. It was not considered not allowed in the Olympics for women to run 5,000 or 10,000 meters, a mere 6 miles, until the 80s. And it wasn't until 1988, despite all of the Greta Waiteses that were coming along, women were not allowed to run the marathon until 1988. However, the good days came when in the 70s I chaired a 2-man committee. As the Premier will know, the smaller the committee, the more effective it can be. And we put a bomb under the BFA's constitution and said goodbye to all of this sham amateurism. Females can't do it, little people can't do it, old people can't do it. And we changed the constitution. So the 24th of May, instead of 15 page Sherlock, all men. All of a sudden, men, women, young people, old people started running the 24th of May, and now you get hundreds and hundreds running on the 24th of May. The Dark Ages are gone.